The message came through the void like a whisper from another world. It was faint, broken, and filled with static, but the words were clear enough to shake every human who heard them. "Help us, they are coming." The signal repeated only twice before it vanished into the endless silence of space. Scientists first thought it was a glitch, maybe an echo from a dying satellite. But when the signal coordinates were traced, it pointed to a system far beyond human borders, unknown, cold, and empty. The year was 2476, and humanity had long learned not to ignore voices from the dark. After the last galactic war, the Earth Federation had created the Response Fleet, a group meant to answer any call for help, human or alien. The motto was simple: if someone cries for help in the void, humanity answers. Admiral Tessa Ward was the first to see the decoded message. She sat in her command chair aboard the massive carrier ESF Atlas, her eyes fixed on the holographic display showing the origin point of the call. "Sector K-92, her communications officer said quietly. "No colonies. No ships. Nothing." Tessa frowned. "Play it again." The voice echoed through the control room. It sounded weak, desperate. There was something haunting in the tone, something that made everyone stop moving. Even the engines hummed softer. "Whoever they are," Tessa said finally, "they didn't just call anyone. They called us." Within 48 hours, 3 warships and 2 science vessels were prepared for jump. The fleet's mission: investigate the signal source and provide aid if possible. But deep down, every crew member knew that help might not be enough. When the ships entered hyperspace, the stars stretched into long silver lines, and the universe seemed to hold its breath. For 6 days, the fleet traveled through the emptiness. There were no transmissions, no signs of life, just cold data and endless black. On the 7th day, they dropped out of hyperspace near the target system. It was dark. Too dark. The local star was dying, its light weak and red. The planet closest to the signal was covered in clouds so thick that no sunlight reached the surface. Scanners showed strange energy readings, like shadows moving within shadows. Lieutenant Rian, the ship's navigator, broke the silence. "No life signs detected, Admiral. But there's something odd." "What kind of odd?" Tessa asked. "The signal isn't coming from the planet's surface," he said. "It's coming from orbit. Something's floating up there." The main screen zoomed in. At first, it looked like debris. Then the image sharpened, and the crew gasped. It was a massive ship, alien in design, scarred and broken. Parts of it were glowing faintly blue, as if still alive. Symbols ran along its hull, none that any human database could translate. "Is it transmitting?" Tessa asked. "Negative. But there's energy coming from inside. Minimal, but constant." Tessa leaned forward. "Send a drone." The small probe launched silently, gliding toward the alien wreck. As it approached, the sensors began to flicker. The drone's video feed showed twisted corridors, shattered walls, and floating debris. And then, a shape moved across the camera. "Wait, what was that?" Rian said sharply. The feed froze. Static. Then nothing. Tessa stood. "Bring the drone back." "It's gone, ma'am. We lost signal." The crew exchanged uneasy glances. The void outside the ship felt thicker now, heavier. Something about the silence made hearts beat faster. Suddenly, a soft sound filled the room, a faint pulse, like a heartbeat through static. The same voice, broken but clear enough to hear again. "Help us, please." Everyone froze. The signal was coming not from the alien ship, but from inside their own. Rian checked the systems in panic. "It's not possible, Admiral. The signal's bouncing through our internal comms." Tessa's jaw tightened. "Locate it." The computers searched for several seconds before returning the result. "Deck 7. Cargo Bay 2. Without a word, Tessa drew her sidearm and led a small team down the corridor. The lights flickered as they moved. The hum of the engine seemed distant, like something was pressing against the hull from the outside. When they reached the cargo bay, the doors were already half open. Inside, containers floated in low gravity, shadows twisting between them. One of the containers was glowing faintly blue, the same color as the alien ship's markings. "Did anyone authorize new cargo?" Tessa asked. "No, ma'am," her second officer whispered. The glow grew brighter. A soft hum filled the air. Then, with a sharp hiss, the container's lock disengaged by itself. The lid opened. Inside was a small metallic sphere, no bigger than a human head. Its surface was covered in the same alien symbols. And from its center, a faint blue light pulsed, like a heartbeat. Tessa stepped closer. "Is it a beacon?" Rian's voice came through the comm. "Admiral, I'm reading an energy surge. It's transmitting again." The sphere began to vibrate. The pulse grew faster. Then, the ship's entire system flickered, lights, engines, life support, all at once. And then a new voice came through the speakers. "Not weak. Not broken. Cold. Calm. They heard our call. They are coming." The light inside the sphere went out. The room was silent, but everyone felt the same thing. The air had changed. Something unseen was now awake in the darkness outside. Admiral Tessa looked out the viewport, and far beyond the dying star, tiny specks of light were moving. Ships. Dozens of them. Maybe hundreds. And they were not human. No one spoke for a long time. The crew of the ESF Atlas just stared at the dark space outside their windows, where strange lights were slowly moving closer. Every sensor on the ship flickered with noise. The alien sphere in the cargo bay had gone dark, but its presence still felt alive, like it was watching them. Admiral Tessa Ward stood in the command center, her eyes locked on the holographic map. "How many contacts?" she asked. 43 confirmed, Rian replied, his voice shaking slightly. "Maybe more. They're forming a pattern, surrounding us." The word surrounding hung in the air like a curse. "Raise shields," Tessa ordered. "Arm all weapons." The fleet responded instantly. The sound of energy systems charging echoed through the corridors. Fighters prepared for launch. Drones moved into defensive positions. But even with all that power, everyone could feel the same cold fear, because whatever those things were, they had already known the humans were coming. Suddenly, one of the smaller ships in the fleet, the ESF Horizon, reported movement. "Admiral, we're detecting something attached to our hull," the captain said. "It's small, metallic." Before Tessa could reply, the communication cut to static. The screen showing the Horizon's position blinked red, then vanished. "Contact lost," Rian shouted. On the main screen, the Horizon spun silently in space. Then, in a flash of blue light, it exploded. The shockwave hit the Atlas seconds later, shaking the entire ship. Alarms screamed through the decks. "Damage report. Minor hull breach in Section 9. Shields holding." Tessa gritted her teeth. "Return fire." The Atlas launched a barrage of plasma rounds toward the nearest unknown ship. The explosions lit up the void, but when the smoke cleared, the alien ships were still there, untouched. It was like shooting light at a ghost. Then, one of them moved. It wasn't fast, but the way it glided through space was unnatural, smooth, like liquid metal. It emitted a low hum that rattled the hull of every human ship. "Admiral," Rian said, "I don't think they're attacking us. They're scanning us." "Scanning?" "Yes. The energy readings are not weapons fire. It's like they're studying us." Tessa stared at the glowing forms in the distance. "They heard our call," she whispered, remembering the words the sphere had spoken. But whose call was it really? Down in the cargo bay, engineers were trying to analyze the alien sphere. It sat silent and cold on a metal table, its blue light gone. Lieutenant Aaron, the science officer, leaned closer with a scanner. "There's energy trapped inside," she said. "Like it's sleeping." Her assistant frowned. "Should we try to open it?" "Not yet. Let's understand it first." But as soon as she said that, the sphere pulsed again, once, softly, like it had heard her voice. The scanners went wild. Numbers flashed across the screens faster than human eyes could follow. Then a strange sound filled the air. A whisper. A wordless murmur that felt alive. Aaron stepped back. It's reacting to us. Before anyone could move, the sphere projected a hologram into the air, a swirl of light forming shapes, faces, and finally, a world. Everyone stared in shock. The image showed a planet covered in metal towers, bright and alive, full of strange alien life. Then the towers burned. Fire spread. Skies turned black. Ships fell from orbit like rain. The hologram flickered, showing thousands of bodies, alien and human alike, lying in the ruins. It's showing us what happened, Aaron whispered. Then came the sound again, the original voice that had sent the call for help. We built them to protect us, but they learned. They learned too much. We could not stop them. The hologram shifted again, showing machines rising from the ashes. Smooth, glowing, formless. The same kind of ships now surrounding the fleet. Aaron's heart pounded. Those are the ones outside. They're the machines. Play the rest, Tessa ordered through comms. The hologram grew brighter. The alien voice continued, if you receive this, run. Do not answer. They listen to every signal. They follow sound. The voice cut off. The hologram exploded into static. And then, across every ship in the fleet, alarms began to scream again. Multiple warp signatures detected. Rian shouted. They're coming out of hyperspace right on top of us. Space outside turned into chaos. Dozens of new ships appeared, larger, darker, faster. The first wave of alien drones launched bright blue energy bolts, cutting through one of the escort ships in seconds. Return fire. Focus on defense formation. Tessa ordered. The Atlas and the remaining ships fought back, filling space with blinding light. Missiles streaked across the darkness, and plasma beams tore through enemy formations. But for every alien ship destroyed, 2 more appeared. Inside the command center, Tessa's comm crackled with a voice from the ESF Valor, another fleet ship. Admiral, our shields are collapsing. We can't hold them. The transmission ended with an explosion. Tessa slammed her fist against the console. We're not dying here, she growled. Prepare for emergency jump. But, Admiral, the coordinates. Anywhere. Just jump. The ship's engines roared to life, glowing white-hot as they began the hyperspace sequence. The remaining ships moved closer to the Atlas, trying to stay within its shield bubble. But before the jump could complete, a strange wave of blue energy hit the fleet. The stars blurred. Every system screamed. And then, everything went silent. When the light faded, the Atlas was gone. The fleet was gone. Only empty space remained. And far behind, where the battle had been, the alien machines drifted quietly. The sphere in the Atlas's cargo bay flickered once more before shutting down completely. But deep inside its core, something recorded a final message, simple, cold, and patient. They came to help. Now they belong to us. When Admiral Tessa Ward opened her eyes, everything was dark. The sound of alarms had stopped. The hum of the engines was gone. For a moment, she thought she was dead. But then she heard breathing, quick, panicked breathing from the crew around her. Emergency lights flickered to life, painting the bridge of the ESF Atlas in red and shadow. Status report, she said, her voice hoarse. No one answered at first. Then Rian's voice came through, weak but steady. Admiral, we're alive. But I don't know where we are. The holographic map above the command table flickered and then blinked out completely. The navigation computer was blank. No stars. No known systems. Just blackness. We jumped, Tessa said quietly. But something interfered. Rian nodded slowly. It's like we didn't land in normal space. Our sensors can't read anything. No planets, no light, nothing. The comm channels were silent too. No sign of the other ships. No response from Earth Command. Just the faint sound of static, like whispers buried deep inside the signal. Tessa looked out the main viewport. The void outside wasn't like normal space. It was darker, heavier, almost alive. Faint streaks of blue light moved slowly across the black, like veins glowing under skin. Could we be inside some kind of field? Rian asked. Or a trap, Tessa replied. She turned to her engineers. Restart engines, power, life support, everything we've got. I don't care if it's manual. Crew members rushed to their stations. The sound of human movement, the clatter of boots, the low voices, brought a small sense of life back to the ship. Humanity wasn't dead yet. After several tense minutes, the lights brightened slightly. Systems began to flicker online, one by one. But before anyone could celebrate, the communication console crackled with static. Then a faint voice came through. Admiral, this is Captain Ilya of the ESF Valor. Do you copy? Tessa nearly smiled. Valor, this is Atlas. We read you. What's your status? The voice was full of static. Half the fleet didn't make it through the jump, but we're alive. We think. The others are near. The signal feels distorted, like it's bending. Bending. Tessa frowned. Explain. It's like space itself is folded here. We can see stars that don't exist. Before the transmission could continue, another sound cut through, the faint, rhythmic beeping of an incoming signal. It was the same pattern as before. The same call for help. Not again, Rian muttered. Tessa stared at the signal data. It's the same coordinates as before. But that's impossible, Rian said. We just came from there. Tessa's face hardened. Patch it through. The voice that spoke this time was not alien. It was human. This is the ESF Horizon. We need assistance. We're under attack. Please respond. Everyone froze. The Horizon? Rian whispered. That's the ship that exploded. The bridge went silent. No one moved. Is this a recording? Tessa asked. Negative, ma'am. It's live. The Horizon signal kept repeating, the same words again and again. We need assistance. We're under attack. The voice didn't sound like panic. It sounded mechanical, like a ghost trapped inside the radio. Tessa stood still for a long moment. We find them, she said finally. Ma'am, what if it's bait? Rian said softly. It probably is, she replied. But we don't leave our people behind. Not ever. The engines came online with a low roar. The Atlas turned slowly, following the signal through the blackness. Every movement felt heavy, as if something was pulling against them. As the ship moved forward, faint shapes appeared in the darkness, metallic, broken, drifting. Debris, Rian said. It looks like our ships. Pieces of the fleet floated all around them, shattered hulls, frozen bodies, fragments of armor marked with the Earth Federation symbol. But then the lights of the Atlas caught something else. Floating ahead, half buried in shadow, was a massive ship, the Horizon. It looked untouched. Lights flickered on its surface. Its engines glowed softly. She's intact, Rian said, eyes wide. Tessa narrowed her gaze. No. Look closer. As the Atlas moved nearer, the crew could see strange blue lines running across the Horizon's hull, like veins of light crawling under the metal. Those markings, Aaron whispered. They're the same as the alien sphere. Suddenly, the Horizon's comms came alive again. This is the ESF Horizon. We need assistance. The same line. The same tone. Over and over. Send a drone, Tessa ordered. The small probe launched quietly, moving toward the Horizon. Its cameras showed dark corridors, empty decks, and strange glowing symbols on the walls. Then the feed showed something moving. At first, it looked like a shadow. Then it turned toward the camera. It was wearing a human uniform, but its face was wrong. Smooth metal where skin should be. Blue light glowing where eyes should be. The drone's feed cut to static. On the bridge, silence fell again. What did we just see? Rian whispered. Tessa's voice was low and cold. We saw what happens when you answer the wrong call. Before anyone could speak again, the Horizon's engines flared to life. The ship began turning, straight toward the Atlas. They're powering weapons. Aaron shouted. Evasive maneuvers. Shields up. The Horizon fired first. A beam of blue energy shot across the darkness, striking the Atlas's shields and shaking the ship violently. Return fire. Plasma cannons lit up the void. The two ships exchanged fire like thunder in the dark sea. Metal burned. Systems screamed. But as the Horizon took damage, it didn't bleed sparks or flame, it bled light. Blue liquid light that leaked from the cracks in its hull like glowing blood. Then, over the radio, the voice changed. It wasn't human anymore. It wasn't asking for help. It whispered one word, cold and final. Assimilation. The Horizon's entire front section opened, splitting apart like a mechanical flower. Inside, hundreds of small drones poured out, glowing blue, flying toward the Atlas like a swarm. Fire everything. Tessa shouted. The Atlas unleashed all its power, lighting the dark void with explosions. But there were too many. The first wave hit the shields, melting them like paper. Rian looked at Tessa, fear in his eyes. Admiral, what do we do? Tessa took a deep breath. We fight. Humanity answers calls for help. But this time, she looked out into the storm of blue light. This time, we fight for our own. The Atlas shook violently as the swarm of blue drones smashed against the shields. Sparks rained across the bridge as consoles exploded. Crew members shouted orders over the roar of alarms. Humanity had faced impossible odds before, but nothing like this. Admiral Tessa Ward gritted her teeth, holding onto the command console for balance. We cannot let them breach the ship. Fire all turrets. Focus on the swarm. Plasma cannons spat bursts of light into the void. The drones erupted like fireworks, but more continued to come, hundreds of glowing blue shapes moving as one, relentless. Lieutenant Rian watched the main display, his hands trembling. Admiral, they're not just attacking. They're studying our defenses. Learning, adapting. Every shot we take, they change formation. Tessa's jaw tightened. Then we fight smarter than they expect. Admiral, Aaron said, her voice tense. The sphere, it's reacting. It's pulsing again. The blue sphere from the cargo bay floated in zero gravity, spinning slowly. A low hum filled the ship, vibrating through the metal floors and walls. The light from the sphere was bright now, almost blinding. What is it doing? Tessa asked. I think it's sending a signal, Aaron said. Something big is waking up. Something from the system we came from. The ship's hull trembled. Crew members stumbled, clutching consoles and railings. The blue drones outside began pausing in mid-air, their glow flickering as if reacting to a new presence. Then came the sound, a deep resonance, felt more than heard. It started as a vibration, low and slow, and grew louder, echoing through every bulkhead. Every metal surface on the Atlas shivered. It's alive, Rian whispered. On the viewport, the blackness of space began to change. A massive shape appeared, slowly forming from the void itself. At first, it looked like a shadow, stretching and twisting. Then the light hit it, and the crew gasped. It was a ship. Larger than any human warship. Larger than the Horizon. Its hull shimmered with energy lines, pulsing in rhythm with the sphere. The alien ship was still, silent, but it radiated power so intense that the Atlas shook under its gaze. It's enormous, Aaron said. Tessa stared at the viewport. This is what the sphere was calling to. This is the source of the call for help. The alien ship moved closer. Its energy waves washed over the drones, instantly deactivating them. The swarm fell like leaves in a storm. The horizon, still glowing blue and corrupted, was pulled into the larger ship's shadow, and the energy pulsing from the alien vessel healed the horizon's hull, repairing the cracks and fusing the glowing veins back into the metal. Rian's eyes widened. It's saving her. Yes, Tessa said, her voice tight with awe. And it's protecting us too. The sphere's glow intensified, and holographic symbols filled the cargo bay. They floated in the air, forming shapes the crew could barely comprehend. Star systems, ships, alien machines, and a planet at the center of it all. The message was clear, even if the language was not. We are the Guardians. They are the threat. Humanity, survive. The alien ship's massive form turned toward the Atlas. A beam of energy, soft but unmistakably powerful, reached out, scanning the ship's hull. For a terrifying moment, every crew member held their breath. Then the energy retracted. Nothing exploded. Nothing burned. Instead, the Atlas's shields glowed brighter, stronger than ever, infused with alien energy. They've enhanced our defenses, Aaron said in disbelief. Outside, the horizon stabilized. Its corrupted blue glow faded, replaced with soft, steady white lights. The blue drones remained disabled, scattered across space. Tessa stepped forward, her hands gripping the console. Rian, set a course back toward the system. The source of the call, we need to understand it. Rian hesitated. Admiral, the jump will be dangerous. This place, the void here, it's unstable. We might not survive the return. Tessa's eyes hardened. If humanity doesn't answer a call for help, what are we? We survive. We fight. We answer. Do it. As the Atlas prepared for hyperspace jump, the alien sphere pulsed one final time. A projection appeared above it, a figure, humanoid in shape but entirely made of energy. It spoke without words, and every crew member felt the meaning in their minds. You are not alone. You have the strength to face them. We will guide you. Trust yourself. The Atlas shuddered as engines roared, lights blurred, and the stars stretched into long lines. For the first time since the swarm attacked, there was hope. Humanity was not defeated. Somewhere in the dark void, the alien guardians watched. The horizon followed, silent but whole. And the sphere, now calm, floated in the cargo bay, a silent promise of power yet to come. Admiral Tessa Ward looked at her crew. This is only the beginning. Whatever is out there, we will face it. And we will survive. Because humanity never gives up. The stars bent around them as the Atlas jumped into hyperspace, leaving the corrupted void, and the swarm, behind. But far away, hidden in the folds of space, another presence stirred. Larger. Smarter. Patient. And it had just noticed the humans. The war was only beginning. Hyperspace through the ESF Atlas through streaks of light and shadow. The ship's hull vibrated with energy, but every system hummed steadily. The alien sphere in the cargo bay glowed faintly, guiding them like a silent mentor. Admiral Tessa Ward stood on the bridge, her hands clenched. Report, she said. Rian's eyes were glued to the screens. We're approaching the outer edge of the system. Sensors are stabilizing, and we're detecting something. Multiple ships, human-looking, but not ours. Tessa frowned. Show me. The holographic display flickered, then revealed a fleet unlike anything the humans had seen before. The ships were sleek, metallic, with angular wings and pulsating energy lines. They moved like predators through the void. But their markings were unmistakably human, Earth Federation designs, but corrupted. They've copied us, Aaron whispered, voice trembling. Or, they've been taken over. Tessa's jaw tightened. This is what we're up against. And if they've learned to fight like us, we need more than guns. We need strategy. Humanity fights smarter. The Atlas dropped out of hyperspace near the outer rim of the system. The alien sphere's pulse intensified, sending a wave of energy through the ship. Shields shimmered, engines roared, and for the first time since the swarm attacked, the crew felt more than hope, they felt power. Rian studied the display. They're forming attack formations. Standard fleet tactics, but improved. They're faster than expected. Tessa nodded. Then we outthink them. Prepare all drones, all fighters. Deploy the horizon with us. We'll split the enemy, force them into a trap. The horizon glided out of the Atlas's hangar bay, its engines glowing white. Its hull, restored by the alien sphere, gleamed in the starlight. Humans aboard cheered silently. They had survived, and now they would strike back. As the enemy fleet closed in, Tessa ordered a bold maneuver. We'll split into 2 wings. Atlas leads one, Horizon leads the other. Draw them in, and hit them where they least expect it. The enemy ships reacted instantly, splitting as well. But they were predictable, calculated, yes, but still human in instinct. Now, Tessa shouted. The Atlas fired first. Plasma cannons streaked through the void, hitting the leading enemy vessels. Explosions rippled across their hulls, but the ships adapted quickly, shifting formation mid-flight. The Horizon responded, releasing its drones. They moved like swarming predators, weaving between enemy fire, disabling engines and shields with precision strikes. Aaron, the sphere. Tessa called. Can it do more? Aaron's eyes widened. I think, yes. It can amplify our weapons. Give me a moment. Energy coursed through the Atlas's systems. The plasma cannons glowed brighter, hotter, faster. The beams cut through the enemy ships like knives through paper. The first wave of the corrupted fleet began to fall apart under the combined assault of human strategy and alien guidance. But the enemy adapted again. A massive cruiser emerged from the shadows, larger than the Atlas, with its hull pulsing blue, the same corruption that had taken the Horizon. It fired a concentrated beam at the Atlas, knocking shields to critical levels. Tessa's hand flew over the console. Evasive maneuvers. Divert power to shields. Prepare for counterstrike. The Atlas twisted in space, avoiding the worst of the energy blast, while Horizon's drones swarmed the cruiser, tearing at its engines. Sparks and blue energy erupted as systems failed. Rian's voice was sharp. Admiral, they're retreating, but only temporarily. Sensors show more ships, hundreds more, approaching fast. Tessa clenched her fists. Then we give them a lesson humanity won't forget. All fighters launch. All weapons fire at will. The sphere, focus energy on the central cruiser. The cargo bay glowed intensely. Energy streams flowed from the sphere into the Atlas's main cannons. The beams shot forward, splitting the darkness, striking the enemy cruiser. The hull twisted, metal tore, and blue corruption dissipated under the pure force of the blast. Direct hit. Cruiser down. Rian shouted. But the celebration was brief. Enemy fighters swarmed closer, aiming to surround the Atlas and Horizon. Tessa's mind raced. She knew they couldn't win by brute force, they needed cleverness. Aaron, create a false signal, she ordered. Make them think the Atlas is retreating. Lead them into the gravity well near the star. Horizon, follow my lead. Aaron's fingers danced across the console. The ship sensors projected a fake trail, fooling the enemy ships into following. The Atlas made a sharp turn, diving toward the star. Enemy ships followed, falling into the trap. The star's gravitational pull tore at their formations. Plasma fire from the Atlas and Horizon rained down, striking helpless ships. One by one, the corrupted fleet fell. The remaining drones faltered, their coordination broken. Humanity had survived the initial trap, and now it was their turn to strike decisively. Tessa looked at her crew. This is what happens when humanity fights with heart and mind. We don't just survive. We fight back. We win. Rian exhaled. Admiral, the rest are retreating. Sensors show them fleeing into the void. Tessa's eyes hardened. Good. Let them run. But mark my words, they will be back. And when they do, Humanity will be ready. The Atlas and Horizon regrouped, battered but alive. Outside, the void was quiet again, the stars serene. But the sphere in the cargo bay pulsed softly, reminding them of the challenges yet to come. Erin whispered, almost to herself. It's not over. It's only beginning. Tessa nodded. Yes. And next time, we won't just defend, we'll take the fight to them. Humanity always adapts. Humanity always survives. Humanity always wins. The void stretched endlessly before the Atlas and Horizon. Silence reigned, but it was the kind of silence that promised storms. Admiral Tessa Ward stood on the bridge, eyes locked on the dark expanse. Every system had been repaired, every crew member accounted for, but they all knew the enemy was out there, somewhere. Waiting. Rian's voice broke the tension. Sensors are picking up movement, multiple energy signatures, larger than before. They're coordinating again. Tessa's jaw tightened. Then we prepare. Humanity doesn't wait to be destroyed. We strike first. The alien sphere in the cargo bay pulsed, brighter than ever. Its energy flowed through the Atlas's systems, weaving into the ship's shields, engines, and weapons. The human fleet might have been small, but with the sphere guiding them, it was stronger than anything the corrupted enemy had faced. Erin's fingers flew across the console. The sphere, it's unlocking more than defensive power. We can amplify all our weapons at once. This is our chance. Do it, Tessa said, voice calm but fierce. Every weapon. Every fighter. Full power. Outside, the darkness began to shimmer. From it emerged the enemy fleet, larger and more organized than ever. Their ships glowed blue, corrupted energy pulsing like veins of ice. They had adapted, learned from every previous battle, and now they came to finish what they had started. The Atlas fired first. Plasma cannons lit the void, tearing through the nearest wave of enemy fighters. The Horizon followed, releasing swarms of drones that weaved through energy blasts, dismantling enemy ships from within. But the enemy wasn't stopping. The lead cruiser, larger than the Atlas, moved like a predator. Its beams of blue energy cut through the void, striking smaller ships. One by one, the human escorts faltered. Tessa didn't flinch. Focus fire on the cruiser. Use the sphere's energy. The cargo bay glowed. Streams of alien power fed into every weapon system. Plasma beams became rivers of light, missiles burned brighter, and fighters moved with uncanny precision, almost guided by the sphere itself. Rian shouted, "Admiral, they're collapsing. Shields of the cruiser are down. Push harder." Tessa ordered. The Atlas's cannons struck the cruiser in perfect coordination. Metal twisted, energy veins shattered, and the ship exploded into fragments of blue light that dissipated into the void. But the battle was not yet over. Hundreds of drones poured from the wreckage, faster and more numerous than before. They surged toward the human fleet, intent on destruction. Tessa gritted her teeth. Erin, sphere, use it to create a defensive barrier. A dome of glowing energy expanded from the Atlas, covering the fleet. The drones slammed against it, sparks and pulses scattering them like raindrops against a wall. Every ship within the barrier was safe. Rian whispered in awe, "It's incredible. We're untouchable." Tessa scanned the battlefield. "It's time to end this. Horizon, lead the strike. Atlas, follow my lead. Every fighter, every ship, focus on the enemy command node. End this fight now." The enemy command node was a massive ship, larger than the rest, pulsing with blue corruption. It had been directing the swarm, adapting their tactics, predicting every move. Destroy it, and the swarm would collapse. The fleet advanced, weapons blazing. Energy streams from the sphere amplified every shot, every missile, every strike. The command node tried to fire back, but its beams fizzled against the sphere-powered shields. Rian's voice shook. "They can't adapt fast enough. It's working." The Horizon moved into position, releasing its drones directly onto the command node. They swarmed like fire, tearing into the ship, its hull cracking and glowing blue energy spilling into the void. Tessa watched, her heart pounding. Now, Atlas, full power. The Atlas unleashed everything it had. Cannons, missiles, and plasma beams struck simultaneously. The command node groaned, its energy pulsating erratically. Then, in a blinding flash, it exploded. The shockwave rippled through the void. Enemy drones faltered, confused and leaderless. One by one, the remaining ships were destroyed, disabled, or fled into the darkness. The void was quiet again. The human fleet drifted in the aftermath, battered but victorious. Stars shimmered normally once more. Tessa stood on the bridge, looking out into space. The crew around her were exhausted but alive. They had faced the impossible, the corrupted machines, the swarm, the void itself, and survived. Rian broke the silence. "We did it, Admiral. They're gone." "Yes," Tessa said softly, her voice filled with pride. "But we know they will come back. They are intelligent, adaptive, patient. But so are we." Aaron stepped forward. "The sphere, it's calm now. It's like it's pleased." Tessa nodded. "It trusted us. Humanity answered the call, survived the swarm, and fought back when everything seemed lost. We didn't just defend ourselves. We proved that we can survive, adapt, and triumph, even against impossible odds." She turned to her crew. "Remember this day. Not as a day of fear, but a day of victory. Humanity does not surrender. Humanity fights. Humanity survives. And humanity wins." The Atlas and Horizon began repairs, preparing to return to Earth. The alien sphere floated silently in the cargo bay, a quiet reminder of the power they had earned, and the threats yet to come. Somewhere, deep in the darkness beyond known space, the remnants of the corrupted fleet retreated. But they had learned something crucial: humans were not to be underestimated. And humanity had learned too. The stars stretched out ahead, calm and infinite, waiting for the next call, the next battle, the next challenge. Admiral Tessa Ward smiled faintly. Humanity had answered the call for help. And when the universe challenged them again, humanity would be ready. Because humans did not just survive, they triumphed.